Hello. Hello, Facebook, and hello, Becca. I'm Tessa Robinson. I'm here for our weekly webinar, our PCS Grades weekly webinar, where we bring just the absolute best and brightest folks from around the community to talk to us about the amazing things they're doing. You'll notice the screen is a little empty today without my lovely co-host, Lizanne. She is hooping it up in Washington, D.C. for the Military Spouse of the Year week and having lots of fun representing PCS Grades there. But Becca Garrison from National Military Family Association is here with us today, and I could not be more excited to talk to you about Operation Purple and all of the unbelievable things you're doing. So Becca, first question, always the easiest. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
So I'm Becca Garrison, and I joined the team at the National Military Family Association in September. And what I've been telling everyone is it feels a lot like coming home. So I was raised in a military household. My dad's a Marine. My brother joined the Marines the second he graduated from high school. I've got an Army sister-in-law, Air Force cousin, the whole gamut. So it really was exciting to go to a place where everybody spoke the language and getting a chance to really to spend time with military families and do everything that I can to support that journey.
We're thrilled you're here. And I know after talking to you for 15 minutes before the webinar, just how passionate you are and how excited you are to represent the community. So welcome. We're going to have some great questions today, hopefully some good audience engagement. As our audience viewers who've been here before know that we always give away something at the end. And today it's a $100 gift card to Dick's Sporting Goods. So lots of fun for your kids and yourselves. $100 gift card. The way that you're entered to win is simply by commenting, asking questions, and being a great audience participant. So, Becca, first question, well, other than how to introduce yourself, your next question, what is Operation Purple Camp? Tell us everything about it.
So Operation Purple Camp came to be in about 2004. At that point, what National Military Family Association was really known for was advocating for families on the Hill, right? So we still have that amazing team that's out there fighting for you every day, finding your voices, elevating them at that level. Operation Purple came about because we wanted to not only advocate for families, but also do some direct service. So our programs, our Operation Purple, allow us to directly serve our military families, kids, and the entire family together. Operation Purple comes in a couple different forms. We have a virtual camp for kids ages about 2 or 3 to 12 that we run over the summer every summer. And then we also have in-person camp for kids ages 6 to 17. And these are just sleepaway summer camps where kids can go out there and be one with nature and hang out with other military kids and have those experiences. And then our last one is our family programs. And we have a bunch of variations of these, but the basic idea is that we'll take your whole family together, send you out in the woods and see if no, that's not true. We're going to send you out there. We're going to give you some support. We're going to give you a good time, a really fun weekend with the family for everyone to connect and just spend some time together that we know is so precious, especially for our military families.
That's awesome. So I did not get to go to summer camp as a kid. And I will tell you, after reading the American Girl story of Molly McIntyre, being away at summer camp was like my dream come true. Did you go to summer camp when you were little?
I did, actually. So my family ended up being deployed in Germany when I was between the ages of 6 and 9. And we were lucky to come across a Girl Scout camp at that time called Camp Lachenwald or Laughing Wood in Germany. So luckily, most of the folks there were speaking English with us. So we were in pretty good shape. But I will never forget being the one person in our cabin brave enough to get rid of spiders. I will tell you, though, now, some of our experiences are very rustic, but others, let me tell you, it is not your grandmother's cabin. There are a lot of really nice facilities out there that we work with, and that's pretty cool too.
So tell me a little bit about the family program, because I think you said before we started that you got to attend a family program, see what it was all about. Tell us what that looks like.
Yeah, so we have a really incredible set of family programs. We serve families in a number of different ways. Our first experience is the family retreat. Now, that's for families specifically who are in a deployment cycle, and we consider that in those 18 months before, during, or after a deployment, when we know families are really struggling with building those connections and feeling close together. That's awesome. Our Texas camps are really exciting for kids, so that's cool to see. When we're talking about our family camps, the family retreats are a really great way for those families to come together. There's a little bit of workshop work with the American Red Cross, but mainly it's just a chance to connect with each other, connect with other families. We have families doing zip lines together. We have families getting into a canoe together. We have families that are just sharing meals and having a really good time. Our healing adventures are for families that have a family member who is wounded, ill, or injured. And those are really great experiences as well. They give families a very similar experience, but they're especially designed to accommodate those with different needs. And the last one we're really excited about is brand new. It's not even on the website yet, is our parent-teen experiences. And this is a new thing for us this year after we did some research on the teen experience and realized that our military teens need a little bit of extra help. So this year we're inviting families. We're doing a camp in Virginia and one in California, where we're going to invite a parent to bring their teen to camp and to have a little chance to really build that special bond between them, which we know is so huge in terms of building up really strong mental wellness for our teens and making them really resilient for the days to come.
That's incredible. Becca, I wish you were just a little bit more excited about it.
I'm so miserable.
For those who've attended Operation Purple Camp, what's new this year?
So Operation Purple Camp, in addition to our parent teen camps, we do have a couple teen camps this year that will be just for our teen population. We're sending kids out to the campus of UC Riverside to Camp Highlander later this summer. And that is going to be all teens. And they're actually staying in college dorm rooms in addition to getting to do all the fun things that you would do at camp. We're working with a new group called Camp Southern Ground down in Georgia. And they're actually going to be doing a camp specifically for kids who are what we call hidden helpers, or kids who support a family member who's wounded, ill, or injured. And then our final exciting one is our Texas camp is actually going to have a teens only section. So if you still want to get all the kids out of the house, you can get all the kids out of the house, but the teens will have their own special experience. In general, a lot of what you've seen in the past is going to be the same. We're still focusing on building great friendships, helping kids connect with the outdoors, and just generally have a great experience. Unfortunately, our camp registration for this year is closed. We had 5,000 families apply, or 5,000 individuals apply for 1,500 beds. So if you know any good funders out there, let us know, because we're trying to get as many beds as possible so we can serve all those military families.
That's incredible. We do have a question. Courtney Smith asked, is this all over the country?
Yes. So every year we're in a couple different locations. We're trying to really think about how we can make sure we're in the best place for military families. The easiest way to see where we are in a given year is just to check out our website, militaryfamily.org, and look at our Operation Purple programs. So we've got family experiences all the way from Florida to Hawaii this year. We've got camps all the way from Georgia to Alaska. And then every year it's just a little bit different as we try to find the right place to find all of our military families and make sure they're being served by what we do.
That's so incredible. So I know the registration for this year is already closed. Mm-hmm. When does registration typically start for the next cycle, so folks can put a reminder on their calendar and not miss the opportunity to register?
Yeah, well, let me just highlight there. Our family programs are still open. We have a whole bunch of family programs throughout the year. So if you miss sending your kids away to camp, you can still find an opportunity for you and your family. And we'll have applications for that open all the way into October of this year, as our last experience is in November. So first off, if you're sad you missed camp, look for a family experience and see if it's nearby to where you are. The next piece there is our camps. Usually we're trying to get it earlier and earlier because we know how people like to be planned for their summers, but we'll probably open in January or February next year. And the best way to get the exact date is when you go to our website, click on the email sign up button in the blue bar at the top of the screen, and then you will be the first to know once those applications open.
Okay. And then what does the application process look like? If you just apply early, you're automatically in, or is there a review period? Tell us about that.
So we don't do first come, first serve. We want to make sure that we're serving the families that have the greatest amount of need first, right? So we do prioritize new campers. We know some camps, it's really great when you can go back from year to year. When we have that space, it's wonderful, but we want to make sure that everyone gets at least one chance to get to an Operation Purple camp. So that's the first thing that we know. The next thing is that we're looking for families that are in that deployment cycle, like we talked about before, 18 months before, during, or after deployment. And then we're also looking for families where you have a service member member who's wounded, ill, or injured. You can find all of these details on our FAQs at that Operation Purple Camp site, and that'll really just walk you through exactly what you're looking for. In general, we try to serve every single military connected family that we can. And then you can see in there, in addition to what I listed, any other small things that we're looking for to prioritize. Hopefully we'll have many more opportunities in the next year. And if you have further questions about your family, the experience, or anything else, you're always welcome to email our team, and we're always happy to answer those questions. That email is opc@militaryfamily.org.
I love you. You're just so great. Tell us about the counselors and the staff. Who's in charge of these purple camps?
So we are just really excited about all the amazing camps we get to work with. We get to work with campfire camps, YMCAs, 4-H's all across the country. So they hire really incredible staff and undergo training with us every year to make sure that they're prepared to address the direct needs of our military kids. We get to give them resources. We've been really lucky to work with a group called Bloom, Empowering the Military Teen. And they provide us great resources like 10 things not to say to a military kid, so that we can make sure our counselors have that cultural competency needed when you're working with a military family, because we know that we have our own language, and we want to make sure that our counselors can keep up with our kids. They're really wonderful folks, right? If you think about that camp experience without all the shenanigans that you might see in any old Disney program or anything else, that's what you're going to get. Singing around the campfire, you're going to get dining hall meals, you're going to get that canoeing and ropes course and gaga ball for those of you that are familiar. And you're going to get it all with folks that are there because they just love working with your families. We have so many camps tell us that their favorite week of the year is when they host Operation Purple, because the kids, as we all know, are just of a different level of excitement and quality. And it's just really great to see them all together.
It doesn't really have the same feel as the economic camp I went to my junior year of high school.
No, not quite government school as they have in some states, but it's a different kind of fun. Absolutely.
Tell us about past campers. Are there any kids that go through Operation Purple Camper and now, or Operation Purple Camp, and now help lead events?
Well, that's a great question. We do have some folks who've had Operation Purple Camp experiences. I actually think we have one right now who contributes on staff, which is pretty cool. And then in general, what we really are hoping for is that our campers will go out and, sort of change the world in their own ways, right? We're looking at lots of ways to engage with alumni and a lot of virtual programming, because then we know part of what's challenging about things like the camp experience, or experience in general for military families, is you move and all of a sudden those connections go away. So we're thinking with our camps and with our campers about what we can be best doing to make sure that those connections continue long after your last day of camp.
That's awesome. What are the ages of kids for kids to attend? Asks Susan Graham.
So every camp has a different age range. So when you go to apply in 2023, we encourage you to just make sure you look at the information for the camp and what ages they serve, depending on what amenities they have, what camp staff they hire, those sorts of things. It could be 6 to 14, it could be 7 to 17. But across the country, we have camps that serve kids between the ages of 6 and 17, and our virtual camps serve kids between 3 and 12.
Oh, wonderful. And Renee asks, what happens if you PCS once you've applied?
So we have a couple different options. If you've already been accepted, we do our best to see if someone comes up, if we can get you at the top of our wait list for another camp. It all depends on where you're PCSing, whether the kid's still planning to attend camp, etc. We also try to prioritize people for the next year, right? So like if this year just doesn't work out because your schedule is not where it needs to be, we understand, and we want you to let us know, and then let us know at the beginning of next year, so we put you right at the top of that list.
Okay. That leads me to Jenna's question. If campers didn't get in this year, are there any other opportunities for those kids to participate?
So at this time, we haven't finished up putting out all of our programming for 2022. So just keep an eye on our website, on our Twitter feed, and those sorts of things. We're always trying to open up more virtual experiences, more local experiences, etc. Our Camp Southern Ground, for example, came to be 3 months before we decided to do it. So just keep an eye on our website, and we hope that there will be many more opportunities this year.
That's fantastic. I know I looked at summer camp for my kids, and it was very pricey. Talk to us about Operation Purple Camp and what that looks like for a family to incur financially.
So camp is free. That's our big goal, right? That's what our funders, especially our generous Wounded Warrior Project funders and other amazing folks who help to send kids to camp every year, their goal is that we send kids to camp for free. So we're really grateful to them. What the only cost that families experience is, if you got to make sure you got enough pairs of shorts, some good sunscreen, and other such things. And even there, we're working together as a team when families reach out to us with needs to see how we can meet them. We don't want finances to be a barrier to keep kids from camp. That's something that's really important to us. The only fee that you'll find yourself putting right out of pocket towards the camp is we do have a hold my spot deposit of $25, because something about that $25 really seems to make sure that families who say they're going to be there are there. We want to make sure that every single bed is filled at camp because there are so many people who want to go to our experiences. And at the end, you can either donate that $25 to kids going to camp next year, or we'll send it right back to you.
That's awesome. What about travel? So if I want my kids to go to camp, but there's not one close by, can I apply for a camp that's out of state? And I would assume you pay for your own cost of traveling to get there. Is that accurate?
Yeah, travel and transportation is up to you. You do need to make sure that you do the coordinating and so that they can get to camp on that first day and home from camp on that last day. But we absolutely have had families in Hawaii this year apply for camp in Alaska and other such things. We'll also have families say, oh, we're going to PCS to this state this year, so we're going to drive the kid out early and drop them off at camp, and then we'll meet them there, right? So there are some other options there in terms of where you can send kids. We have a dream. It's a dream that may or may not come true in the next couple of years, that we will be able to offer some scholarships to get kids to camp. But we're still working out the details on that, because our first priority, of course, is making sure our campers are safe and happy. And then we get to figure out all the exciting stuff later on.
Oh, I want to go to summer camp. I really do. What's your favorite activity the campers do?
I am a big fan of anything that requires people to do funny movements and make funny noises. So camp songs and camp chants, that is absolutely one of my favorite parts. It is amazing how the most sarcastic and angry teenager, I include myself in that list of sarcastic and angry teenagers at the time, right, can really just let loose and start shaking their hands over their head and belting out ridiculous song lyrics when they get swept up in the ambiance of the camp experience. So something about a campfire really makes you want to hoot and holler.
Now, Becca, I love that you just said that. And then there's the other part of me that really needs to hear one of these campfire songs or chants. I'm sorry for putting you on the spot, but do you have one that you'll do for us?
I tell you what, I'll sing the first verse of the OPC song, which for those of you who've been to OPC in the past, you may not know. The OPC song is new this year because we were thinking to ourselves, how do you let somebody who went to camp in Texas know that you were an OPC camper if you went in Alaska, right? So the first line of that song is, summer's here, let's have some fun and go a little crazy. Swimming, dancing, gaga ball, there's no time to be lazy.
I just want you to come everywhere with me. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. I think everybody wants to come to summer camp. Jenna says, yay. Everybody's excited. What a good song. I love it. All right. Let's talk a little bit more about logistics. Where can folks register? Is there a wait list? How do I sign up? All of those good things.
Yeah, so you can find all of this information on our website, militaryfamily.org. Check out Operation Purple. You'll see Operation Purple Camp. You'll see Operation Purple Family Retreats, Healing Adventures, Camp at Home, and then Camp at Home Junior is what we call it for the 3 to 7-year-olds. And then when you log in, you'll see, like I said, the actual kids camps are closed for applications this year, but those family programs are still very much open. So we encourage you to check those out and sign up. The application process, like most right now, is an online form. We ask for some information about you and your family so we can make sure that we're accommodating you appropriately. That's something that we're working on as an organization, is really making sure that when campers go to camp, the staff on the ground are able to support. So we really ask that you share as much information as you can so we make sure that we can support your family properly. So that's sort of the piece there. We do have a wait list. The way our wait list works is we include every family who's eligible for camp on it. So now what that means is you might not experience a huge amount of movement on that wait list. We're excited when everyone can come, but we will call people up to the day before camp to let them know that a space opened up. I'm very serious about putting a kid in every single bed that we have available at camp. So that's pretty important to us. In terms of wait lists, we don't give out numbers. That's a question we get asked a lot, is what number am I on the wait list? Because it really depends on what the camp has in terms of space, and we admit families together. So there might be 5 families on there, but if you only have a bed for a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old boy, it's going to change who we're able to pull in off the list. So that's just something we ask families to be patient about. And then, it's always great to tell others that, if they give us a little bit more money, we can send more kids to camp.
I'm going to give you all my money.
That's the goal.
Walk us through what a typical camp day looks like. And then I want to hear the same for the family program.
Sure. So a camp day, let's take a day in the middle of the week. Your kids are going to get up early and they're going to go and they're going to do the flag raising, right? You'll probably sing a few songs, have some camp announcements. At this point, everyone's a little bleary-eyed, but that's the way we get woken up and get started, is a little bit of head, shoulders, knees, and toes. You're going to walk in and you're going to have your dining hall meal, right? And every camp has the setup a little bit different. And it is wonderful. One of the things we do ask about on our survey is the food, to make sure that everyone's getting enough to eat and that they're having a good time. And then the next thing that'll happen in your day is you'll have different activities, maybe with your cabin, with other kids your age, or with other groups. Those can be everything from arts and crafts to archery to, like we talked about before, some of those ropes courses. They'll have team sports at some of our camps. Some of our camps, you'll tie-dye your Operation Purple shirt, all sorts of different fun activities. You get lunch in there at some point. You're going to get an afternoon rest time. A really important part of our curriculum this year is also something we're calling cabin chats, where we're going to ask cabins just to take 30 minutes to talk to kids about topics that are important, based on our big themes of camp, including pride and service, teamwork, stewardship, communication, and empowerment. So we'll ask campers just to take a little time to talk. If your kid's not a big camper, we're not forcing it. It's not a lesson at school. They're welcome to journal or draw or just listen in and maybe learn a little something. But our hope is that this is going to be a chance for kids to get to know each other better, build some real connections, and walk away feeling even stronger than they did when they walked in. Evening time, there's dinner and then some sort of evening program. Sometimes it's just a really great campfire. Sometimes they'll have a big tournament of some sort. A bunch of our camps have really fun barn dances. So, always check that packing list to see if you need to send your cowboy boots along. It's a really wonderful week overall, and we just see that every camp puts their own spin on it. So no 2 experiences are exactly the same, but what is the same is that we've got our military kids together, connecting and really appreciating their own commitment and service as a family. For our family programs, the days it's just 3 days, right? You show up on a Friday and you leave on a Sunday. You start out with team building that first night. And let me tell you, everybody is real, lots of skeptical parents on the sidelines. But once you really get into a good game of icebreakers, everybody gets engaged very quickly. Saturday morning, we have a workshop session for families. And once again, it's one of those things where we get a lot of crickets for the first couple of minutes. And then people realize they're in a room with people who get it. And then suddenly the floodgates are open and it's really wonderful. You get 3 meals a day during that time. And then you spend the afternoon just hanging out with your family, right? Any activity you can think of. I watched a really amazing family at one of our family retreats get up on the zipline pole and together with 2 other families coach their youngest kid through finally getting off the edge and down the zip line. So it's lots of great team building activities. Last family retreat we had a fun movie night that evening. The families watched Encanto together and half of them sang along and the other half danced. So it really is a great time to have fun. So those are sort of just some of the different pieces of the experience. Like I said, every camp is unique and different, and our staff is always happy to tell you about what exactly you're in for when you're looking at that experience.
Oh, it sounds incredible. So for the family programs, you're within 18 months of going on deployment, after 18 months after. Can you do more than one family program if you're having multiple deployments, or are you one and done?
So same deal here. We try to prioritize families that haven't had the opportunity to go before. That's our first goal, is to make sure that everyone gets to try it at least once, gets to have that life-changing experience. But we also try to make sure, like I said, every bed is full. So we'll encourage people to apply even if you've attended an experience before. And if you're eligible, we'll keep you on that wait list. And you might get a call the day before saying, hey, someone's got a cold. Do you want to come instead? So there's lots of really great ways that we can engage families, even if they've participated before, and are just interested in hanging out again.
Oh, amazing. Sally Houston, first of all, she loves your red glasses. And she said barn dance. So fun. So barn dance, talent shows, canoes, all the things that summer camp has to offer. What is your favorite part about Operation Purple Camp?
So I think that for our, I'd like to talk about our camps do two different things, right? There's the hype that you get from camp, right? Like just this feeling of excitement and energy and really feeling important, right? Like we know what our military kids do is important, right? They are such an essential part of what we do day to day, why we do what we do. And we just want to make sure that we honor that. So that feeling of importance and excitement, I think that that's my favorite part of Operation Purple Camp. For our family experiences, it's 100% about the heart, right? Like you will see families connect with each other in ways that you would never imagine, right? I've seen jaded teenagers open up in our Red Cross sessions and then go share what they learned with their families later on. I've seen parents say, I've never seen so-and-so's talk so much, right? Those are really wonderful things to see. And then, just the number of folks who say it was the time that was important, right? We don't have enough of it. And when you're just spending that time really getting to be together, getting to laugh together, getting to see each other try maybe slightly hard things, and get through it okay. It really is quite a powerful thing.
Yeah, I think everybody learned from COVID that time together without soccer practice and this dance recital and this and this and this, it's really pretty precious. So imagine being able to do that in the wilderness is a whole nother level.
Well, and let me tell you, that COVID point is so true. And another thing that we're seeing is that families that maybe weren't as interested in sort of opening up before are really seeing the value in that, right? Like they realize that the time we have together is precious, that the relationships that we have together make such a difference in our day-to-day happiness, right? Like a deep relationship can make mornings a little bit easier and a little bit less annoying for everyone. And so we get really excited now when our families show up and they're ready, right? Like they're ready to step in the room and share a story that someone else in their family hasn't heard before. And that makes all the difference.
Talk to me a little bit about, you mentioned the Red Cross session. What does that look like?
So we have a couple different workshops and the camps are a little different, right? So we talked about our healing adventures and our family retreats. So we'll have the Red Cross or another group come in and it's a pretty short session. It's usually about 90 minutes, but we ask everyone to engage who comes to there. We're really big on not workshopping you out. We know there are a lot of things that you go to where you work all weekend, but we do find that just a little bit of time together thinking about your communication style or how you build your own resilience or how you work together as a team can really make a difference to the family's enjoyment of the rest of the weekend. So we do that right off the bat. We spend time together. And for those teen camps that someone's mentioning here, I will say that one of the things that's really exciting about that right now is we're planning on running 2 workshops, one where teens just get a chance to connect with each other and parents get a chance to connect with each other, and then one where teens and parents can connect in their family. So we're really trying to think through what are those relationships that you need when you walk out the door, and how can we use experts like the teams at American Red Cross or Families Overcoming Under Stress to come together and help our families just have a couple more words you can use when you hit that rough spot.
That's beautiful and so needed. How long are those camps? I know the family program's a long weekend. What about the teen camps?
Yeah, so our teen camps are right now they're overnights, right? So they're pretty short, and a lot of that is because we know when we're bringing teens into that situation, they have so many things going on, right? Like, I have a nephew who has games all the time, right? Like, there's just always something going on. So we figure we're going to get you in there and out real quick, but it's going to be meaningful and it's going to stick with you. So those are overnight experiences. We also have some family one-day experiences that will be running in both Florida and California this year. If you don't have a lot of time, but you want to hop over for a day and just get some good, like fun and sun and enjoyment together, that's what we're thinking there. And then our camps, our week-long camps are a week long, and they're sleepaway camps. Sometimes that's 7 days, Sunday to Saturday. Sometimes it's 5 days. But just check out each individual camp, and it depends on what that camp does for a full session.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. I want to talk more about what NMFA is doing outside of Operation Purple Camp. But before we head that direction, is there anything else you want our viewers to know about OPC?
Yeah, I think that the most important thing to know is that the experience is for you, right? Like as I mentioned at the beginning, I joined this team in September. I feel honored every day that I get to do the work that I do. And the best part of my job is when I have a family reach out to me and tell me something that we can do better, right? So we ask you to check out our website and reach out, right? We just really want to hear from you and what you need. Most of my team are current or former military spouses. So I get a lot of feedback from them as well. One of my favorite pieces recently was, if I have to go to one more fair with a squash ball, that's not going to, I'm going to go crazy, right? And I think that we think about, like, those are great. Those are great opportunities to learn about the resources, but what else can we do? So tell us, right? Are you looking at our camps and really wishing that we had an experience for some other group? Tell us. We want to make that happen for you. We know that there aren't a huge number of spaces, and we want to be a part of the environment that's helping you out.
Awesome. What about, and nobody asked this, but I am curious, what about kids with special needs? Do you have special camps for that? Do you have, are your counselors trained to accommodate?
So that depends on our camp staff, right? So since we partner with different camps, we spend a lot of time talking to them about what needs they can accommodate. So if you let us know that you want to go to camp and your kid has a specific need, we'll talk with that camp and see if they're set up to accommodate that. We never want to send a kid to a camp that's not going to give them the best possible experience. But we do have a lot of camps that have opportunities for kids who are neurodivergent or who maybe need a little extra support with some different things. So we ask that you share that information, and we'll see what we can do. This is an area where we're always hoping to improve as well, right? So looking at camps that specialize in kids with special needs, seeing what we can do in terms of partnering with them. So even if we can't run a full camp with them, we can still at least connect them to families. So this is another area where if there's a specific area of need where you're not seeing that you're getting the services you need, let us know, and we'll see what we can do as we start planning for the years to come.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. I just keep asking you more and more questions about camp because I just love it.
We love it too.
I do. It just sounds so fun and exciting. It's amazing. But I do want to talk about NMFA and some of the incredible things that you all are doing over there. I know the white papers that have been done in the past on military spouse employment have been phenomenal. Tell me more about the organization and what you're working on.
Yeah, I think you can think about NMFA serving our families in 3 different ways, right? The programs that we've talked about, the advocacy that we've been known for since forever, and then also the research work that we do. We have an incredible research team, small and mighty, and they did just the most wonderful thing in the last 2 years. We've been running this teen report. So we reached out to thousands of military teens and asked them to tell us about their experience, right? And let me tell you, they were honest. And it was incredibly insightful to us. So one of the things that you can find when you check out our website is our teen report. And you'll have a chance to really sort of hear what the teens are saying about their experience, right? Some of the things are things that we absolutely knew, right? We know that separation is hard. We know that PCSing over 6 times while you're in your school years can be a real challenge. And we understand that. And that's part of why we've partnered with the organization Bloom, Empowering the Military Teen, to have them speak to the world and have them say, hey, here's what our military teens are experiencing. What can we do to support them? We just had the amazing opportunity at our State of the Military Family event to have those Bloom teens and others from a panel speak with the Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona. And it was really an incredible experience to see how he listened to the teens and told them that what he's hoping to see is a place where, each one of them feels like they belong in their school communities, and has the support they need and gets to have a really rich and amazing school experience even if they are transitioning a fair amount. So we encourage you to read that report, to check out Bloom as well and see what they're doing. They are creating some really amazing, honest content. And we're just so excited to be partnering with them going forward, to help them to build a really strong space, a really strong safe space for other military teens.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And then, the last part here is there's just all sorts of great information available from our advocacy team about what's available to military families. And I don't want to forget to mention, not only do we do our Operation Purple programs, but we also have a spouse education and employment fund. So we give out scholarships for education, for recertification. We know that's a huge part of being a military spouse in a new place, and also for entrepreneurship. So we encourage you to check out our scholarship program, which runs all year round, and see if you qualify and if we can help you with your educational and employment goals.
Awesome. I want to go back to the teen report. And so you said that there are a few things in there that weren't surprising. Of course, moving several times in school is very difficult. Separation, definitely tough. Was there anything in there that you found surprising?
Yeah, so we had a lot to learn where, I think it makes sense when you really think it over, but a lot to learn about mental wellness in our teens, right? So we had a lot of teens telling us that they weren't doing great, right? They were doing okay, or they weren't doing wonderfully, but they maybe weren't at the top of their game. And we want to make sure, first of all, we know that during these times, this is true for so many teens, not just military teens. But what we actually also learned about military teens is they are highly likely to consider joining the military out of school, right? So what that means is we have military teens who are thinking about taking on incredibly challenging work, and are struggling before they get to that phase. So we've really been thinking about what we can do to support them on that mental wellness journey, what we can do to support their families to make sure they have resources, and to make sure that they have the right words just to talk to each other and tell each other what's going on, right? So that, I think, is something that's absolutely worth checking out in the report. And maybe it'll inspire a conversation between you and the kids in your house about how they're doing really and what kind of support they think they might need to be doing their absolute best.
Oh, that's fantastic. Talk to us a little bit about the military spouse employment white paper and the things that NMFA has been so instrumental in the strides they've made for military spouse employment.
So I just think that it's really wonderful. I'm not gonna say too much in this area because my political knowledge is very small, and I want to make sure that I don't do any of our amazing points any injustice here. But what I will say is you can check out our white paper on our website, and you can see the sort of goals that we have in terms of ensuring things like military spouses, that companies know how important it is to hire military spouses and are making that extra effort to do so. That organizations out there are understanding all the different things that make our military spouses special and are really interested in hiring them. And that, all the folks that are out there, all of our officials really understand the barriers that spouses face when it comes to things like licensure when you're crossing state lines all the time, or when you're trying to find work overseas, or all of these different things that military spouses go through. So there's lots of information all about, what are the resources that are available, and also what are we asking for when we're there with our big government officials in terms of ensuring that you all are going to have exactly what you need to work and to be educated and to have the experience you want while your partner is serving in the military.
Fantastic. And Becca, tell us a little bit more about your experience. You came on in September. What were you doing before that? And how much fun do you have every day at work?
I mean, just a really absurd amount of fun. It's wild that I can be making spreadsheets and having this much fun. But I joined the team after about 5 years in education. So I started out as a teacher, and I taught in New York City schools, and I taught in Colorado, and then I moved into education technology. So I started in that area as well. And one of the big things that I was thinking about in those spaces was always this idea of having great opportunities for everyone, right? And just knowing some folks get opportunities and others don't. And what can we do to make sure that everyone gets those great opportunities? So I worked in education technology, which was a really great way to see, like, maybe we can't get everyone into the same building, but we can provide them access to a great education. I had the opportunity to work in workforce development. And then when this job popped up, it just felt like a sign, right? And it's been this opportunity to not only connect back with the military community in a way that I haven't since I was a kid and we were traveling around the world with the Marines, but it's also been a chance to connect with my family in a new way. I have things that I understand about my brother's life that are new to me because of the work that I'm doing. I have things that I understand about what my mom experienced and what my dad experienced because I'm doing this work. So it's just amazing now. I'm lucky enough that I get to travel back to Arlington, where my family lives, because our home base for NMFA is in Alexandria. And every time I end up sitting around the table having these conversations with my family that wouldn't be possible without this work. So I say that to say, one, like, please have those conversations with your family members that maybe aren't actively engaged in the military community. You never know what it is that they do or don't know, or do or don't want to hear from you. And with your kids, as they get older, what they do or don't remember, right? And I think that that's just been such a cool thing for me. And it's a great thing about camp too. I always make the joke that I didn't know that a grocery store was a real thing until I was in 7th grade. I thought it was a commissary, and that a grocery store was what the old people called it. So when I think about that experience, I really think about how nice it would have been to go to a camp with other kids who knew what a commissary was and understood that you buy clothes and shoes at the exchange and those sorts of things. So I hope that, through our experiences, we're able to build those ties very strongly for families, so that no matter where you go, you remember the commitment that you have shown and the work that your family has done, that we're all so grateful for.
Oh, amazing. Becca Garrison, you are just a breath of fresh air and just such a fun guest. I hope everybody has enjoyed you as much as I have. I am sure they have. It is about that time to do our Wheel of Names, which is always my favorite part. I feel like Oprah, like you get a gift card and you get a gift card.
Ooh.
So we're giving away a $100 gift certificate to Dick's Sporting Goods. And while I tee up the Wheel of Names, since Lizanne isn't here to lead the conversation for me while I try to do that, I'm going to ask you to tell us your favorite duty station that you were stationed at and why.
Okay, so I don't remember too many of them. I was pretty young at the time, but the one that we've had the chance to go back and visit the most often is Camp Lejeune. So I was born in that area, so I obviously think it's a pretty great place to be raised. But I just remember that, there were these wonderful, amazing trees when my family went back a couple years back, the big trees that have all this huge hanging Spanish moss. And as we were driving through this beautiful grove, and it's emotional for all of us to be back in a place that we haven't been for years and years. And my dad goes, "Look, Spanish moss. Hola." And that was the way he greeted the return to the Camp Lejeune area. So when I think about that, I just think about how a man who could be so serious in uniform could be so silly the rest of the time.
I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, you are the best. We are going to go ahead and share screen. Dun, 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 Chrome tab, Wheel of Names. Here we go. Share. All right, our winner of the $100 gift card to Dick's Sporting Goods is thinking. All right, Charmaine Perry Knights, congratulations. If you would please message the Facebook page so we can get that gift card to you. Congratulations on your big win. And we want to know what you're going to spend your $100 on at Dick's Sporting Goods. Lots of fun things for the summer. Awesome. Becca, before we wrap up, anything else that you want to tell folks about either the camp or NMFA in general?
Let me just take the chance to reiterate that NMFA is here for you, right? Like, we exist because of you. We were started by some military families around a kitchen table, is the story, with the goal of serving others in their community. And we don't move forward without you telling us where you want us to go next. So please do, any email address that's available on the website, reach out to me, tell me that you saw me here, right? Like, we want to hear from you. We want us to tell you what you want. We want you to tell us what you need. We know that's ever changing and evolving. So please do think about telling us what you need, telling us what you want to know, and we'll do everything that we can to make that happen.
You're remarkable. What a wealth of knowledge. What great resources for our viewers today. Thank you all for watching. And Becca, thank you for being here and the incredible advocacy you do for military families across the world. Really, really appreciate your time today. Hope everybody has a great week. We will be back next week. Liz Ann will return, I promise. And next week we will not have a live webinar. Well, yeah, we do. Tuesday, May 10th, to discuss college savings for military kids with Victory Capital. So look for that on Tuesday, May 10th. Becca, thank you. And until then, this too shall PCS. Have a great day, everybody.